Automation or automatic control is the use of various control systems for operating equipment such as machinery, processes in factories, boilers and heat-treating ovens, switching on telephone networks, steering and stabilization of ships, aircraft and other applications with minimal or reduced human intervention. Some processes have been completely automated. The biggest benefit of automation is that it saves labor. However, it is also used to save energy and materials and to improve quality, accuracy and precision. The term automation, inspired by the earlier word automatic, was not widely used before 1947, when General Motors established the automation department. It was during this time that industry was rapidly adopting feedback controllers, which were introduced in the 1930s. Automation has been achieved by various means including mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic, electrical, electronic devices and computers, usually in combination. Complicated systems, such as modern factories, airplanes and ships, typically use all these combined techniques. Types of automation. 1. Discrete control. One of the simplest types of control is on-off control. An example is the thermostats used on household appliances. Electromechanical thermostats used in HVAC may only have provision for on-off control of heating or cooling systems. Electronic controllers may add multiple stages of heating and variable fan speed control. Sequence control, in which a programmed sequence of discrete operations is performed, often based on system logic that involves system states. An elevator control system is an example of sequence control. 2. Continuous control. The advanced type of automation that revolutionized manufacturing, aircraft, communications and other industries is feedback control, which is usually continuous and involves taking measurements using a sensor and making calculated adjustments to keep the measured variable within a set range. Open and closed loop. All the elements constituting the measurement and control of a single variable are called a control loop. Control that uses a measured signal, feeds the signal back and compares it to a set point, calculates and sends a return signal to make a correction, is called closed-loop control. If the controller does not incorporate feedback to make a correction, then it is open-loop. Loop control is normally accomplished with the controller. The theoretical basis of open and closed-loop automation is control theory. Sequential control and logical sequence or system state control. Sequential control may be either to a fixed sequence or to a logical one that will perform different actions depending on various system states. An example of an adjustable but otherwise fixed sequence is a timer on a lawn sprinkler. States refer to the various conditions that can occur in a use or sequence scenario of the system. An example is an elevator, which uses logic based on the system state to perform certain actions in response to its state and operator input. For example, if the operator presses the floor end button, the system will respond depending on whether the elevator is stopped or moving, going up or down, or if the door is open or closed, and other conditions. An early development of sequential control was relay logic, by which electrical relays engage electrical contacts which either start or interrupt power to a device. Relays were first used in telegraph networks before being developed for controlling other devices, such as when starting and stopping industrial-sized electric motors or opening and closing solenoid valves. Using relays for control purposes allowed event-driven control, where actions could be triggered out of sequence, in response to external events. These were more flexible in their response than the rigid single-sequence CAM timers. More complicated examples involved maintaining safe sequences for devices such as swing bridge controls, where a lock bolt needed to be disengaged before the bridge could be moved, and the lock bolt could not be released until the safety gates had already been closed. The total number of relays, CAM timers and drum sequences can number into the hundreds or even thousands in some factories. Early programming techniques and languages were needed to make such systems manageable, one of the first being ladder logic, where diagrams of the interconnected relays resembled the rungs of a ladder. Special computers called programmable logic controllers were later designed to replace these collections of hardware with a single, more easily reprogrammed unit. In a typical hardwired motor start and stop circuit, a motor is started by pushing start or run button that activates a pair of electrical relays. The lock-in relay locks in contacts that keep the control circuit energized when the push button is released. Another relay energizes a switch that powers the device that throws the motor starter switch in the main power circuit. Large motors use high voltage and experience high inrush current, making speed important in making and breaking contact. This can be dangerous for personnel and property with manual switches. All contacts are held engaged by their respective electromagnets until a stop or off button is pressed, which de-energizes the lock-in relay. Commonly, interlocks are added to a control circuit. Suppose that the motor in the example is powering machinery that has a critical need for lubrication. In this case, an interlock could be added to ensure that the oil pump is running before the motor starts. Timers, limit switches and electric eyes are other common elements in control circuits. Solenoid valves are widely used on compressed air or hydraulic fluid for powering actuators on mechanical components, while motors are used to supply continuous rotary motion. Actuators are typically a better choice for intermittently creating a limited range of movement for a mechanical component, such as moving various mechanical arms, opening or closing valves, raising heavy press rolls, applying pressure to presses. Computer control. Computers can perform both sequential control and feedback control, and typically a single computer will do both in an industrial application. Programmable logic controllers are a type of special-purpose microprocessor that replaced many hardware components such as timers and drum sequences used in relay logic-type systems. General-purpose process control computers have increasingly replaced standalone controllers, with a single computer able to perform the operations of hundreds of controllers. Process control computers can process data from a network of PLCs, instruments and controllers in order to implement typical control of many individual variables or, in some cases, to implement complex control algorithms using multiple inputs and mathematical manipulations. They can also analyze data and create real-time graphical displays for operators and run reports for operators, engineers and management. Control of an automated teller machine is an example of an interactive process in which a computer will perform a logic-derived response to a user selection, based on information retrieved from a network database. The ATM process has similarities with other online transaction processes. The different logical responses are called scenarios. Such processes are typically designed with the aid of use cases and flowcharts, which guide the writing of the software code. History. The earliest feedback control mechanism was used to tent the sails of windmills. It was patented by Edmund Lee in 1745. The centrifugal governor, which dates to the last quarter of the 18th century, was used to adjust the gap between millstones. The centrifugal governor was also used in the automatic flour mill developed by Oliver Evans in 1785, making it the first completely automated industrial process. The governor was adopted by James Watt for use on a steam engine in 1788 after Watt's partner Boulton saw one at a flour mill Boulton and Watt were building. The governor could not actually hold a set speed. The engine would assume a new constant speed in response to load changes. The governor was able to handle smaller variations such as those caused by fluctuating heat load to the boiler. Also, there was a tendency for oscillation whenever there was a speed change. As a consequence, engines equipped with this governor were not suitable for operations requiring constant speed, such as cotton spinning. Several improvements to the governor, plus improvements to valve cutoff timing on the steam engine, made the engine suitable for most industrial uses before the end of the 19th century. Advances in the steam engine stayed well ahead of science, both thermodynamics and control theory. The governor received relatively little scientific attention until James Clerk Maxwell published a paper that established the beginning of a theoretical basis for understanding control theory. Development of the electronic amplifier during the 1920s, which was important for long-distance telephony, required a higher signal-to-noise ratio, which was solved by negative feedback noise cancellation. This and other telephony applications contributed to control theory. Military applications during the Second World War that contributed to and benefited from control theory were fire control systems and aircraft controls. The word automation itself was coined in the 1940s by General Electric. The so-called classical theoretical treatment of control theory dates to the 1940s and 1950s. Relay logic was introduced with factory electrification, which underwent rapid adoption from 1900 through the 1920s. Central electric power stations were also undergoing rapid growth and operation of new high-pressure boilers. Steam turbines and electrical substations created a large demand for instruments and controls. Central control rooms became common in the 1920s, but as late as the early 1930s, most process control was on-off. Operators typically monitored charts drawn by recorders that plotted data from instruments. To make corrections, operators manually opened or closed valves or turned switches on or off. Control rooms also used color-coded lights to send signals to workers in the plant to manually make certain changes. Controllers, which were able to make calculated changes in response to deviations from a set point rather than on-off control, began being introduced in the 1930s. Controllers allowed manufacturing to continue showing productivity gains to offset the declining influence of factory electrification. Factory productivity was greatly increased by electrification in the 1920s. Manufacturing productivity growth fell from 5.2% year 1919 to 29 to 2.76% year 1929 to 41. Field notes that spending on non-medical instruments increased significantly from 1929 to 33 and remained strong thereafter. In 1959, Texaco's Port Arthur refinery became the first chemical plant to use digital control. Conversion of factories to digital control began to spread rapidly in the 1970s as the price of computer hardware fell. Significant applications. The automatic telephone switchboard was introduced in 1892 along with dial telephones. By 1929, 31.9% of the Bell system was automatic. Automatic telephone switching originally used vacuum tube amplifiers and electromechanical switches, which consumed a large amount of electricity. Call volume eventually grew so fast that it was feared the telephone system would consume all electricity production, prompting Bell Labs to begin research on the transistor. The logic performed by telephone switching relays was the inspiration for the digital computer. The first commercially successful glass bottle blowing machine was an automatic model introduced in 1905. The machine, operated by a two-man crew working 12-hour shifts, could produce 17,280 bottles in 24 hours. Compared to 2,880 bottles made by a crew of 6 men and boys working in a shop for a day. The cost of making bottles by machine was 10 to 12 cents per gross compared to $1.80 per gross by the manual glass blowers and helpers. Sectional electric drives were developed using control theory. Sectional electric drives are used on different sections of a machine where a precise differential must be maintained between the sections. In steel rolling, the metal elongates as it passes through pairs of rollers, which must run at successively faster speeds. In paper making, the paper sheet shrinks as it passes around steam-heated drying arranged in groups, which must run at successively slower speeds. The first application of a sectional electric drive was on a paper machine in 1919. One of the most important developments in the steel industry during the 20th century was continuous wide strip rolling, developed by Armco in 1928. Before automation, many chemicals were made in batches. In 1930, with the widespread use of instruments and the emerging use of controllers, the founder of Dow Chemical Co. was advocating continuous production. Self-acting machine tools that displace hand dexterity so they could be operated by boys and unskilled laborers were developed by James Naismith in the 1840s. Machine tools were automated with numerical control using punched paper tape in the 1950s. This soon evolved into computerized numerical control. Today, extensive automation is practiced in practically every type of manufacturing and assembly process. Some of the larger processes include electrical power generation, oil refining, chemicals, steel mills, plastics, cement plants, fertilizer plants, pulp and paper mills, automobile and truck assembly, aircraft production, glass manufacturing, natural gas separation plants, food and beverage processing, canning and bottling, and manufacture of various kinds of parts. Robots are especially useful in hazardous applications like automobile spray painting. Robots are also used to assemble electronic circuit boards. Automotive welding is done with robots, and automatic welders are used in applications like pipelines. Advantages and disadvantages. The main advantages of automation are increased throughput or productivity, improved quality or increased predictability of quality, improved robustness of processes or product, increased consistency of output, reduced direct human labor costs and expenses. The following methods are often employed to improve productivity, quality, or robustness. Install automation in operations to reduce cycle time. Install automation where a high degree of accuracy is required, replacing human operators in tasks that involve hard physical or monotonous work, replacing humans in tasks done in dangerous environments, performing tasks that are beyond human capabilities of size, weight, speed, endurance, etc. Economic improvement. Automation may improve an economy of enterprises, society, or most of humanity. For example, when an enterprise invests in automation, technology recovers its investment, or when a state or country increases its income due to automation, like Germany or Japan in the 20th century. Reduces operation time and work handling time significantly, frees up workers to take on other roles, provides higher-level jobs in the development, deployment, maintenance and running of the automated processes. The main disadvantages of automation are security threats, vulnerability. An automated system may have a limited level of intelligence, and is therefore more susceptible to committing errors outside of its immediate scope of knowledge. Unpredictable, excessive development costs. The research and development cost of automating a process may exceed the cost saved by the automation itself. High initial cost. The automation of a new product or plant typically requires a very large initial investment in comparison with the unit cost of the product. Although the cost of automation may be spread among many products and over time. In manufacturing, the purpose of automation has shifted to issues broader than productivity, cost, and time. Lights-out manufacturing. Lights-out manufacturing is when a production system is 100% or near to 100% automated, in order to eliminate the need for labor costs altogether. Health and environment. The costs of automation to the environment are different depending on the technology, product or engine. Automated, hazardous operations, such as oil refining, the manufacturing of industrial chemicals, and all forms of metalworking, were always early contenders for automation, convertibility and turnaround time. Another major shift in automation is the increased demand for flexibility and convertibility in manufacturing processes. Manufacturers are increasingly demanding the ability to easily switch from manufacturing product A to manufacturing product B without having to completely rebuild the production lines. Flexibility and distributed processes have led to the introduction of automated guided vehicles with natural features navigation. Digital electronics helped too. Former analog-based instrumentation was replaced by digital equivalents which can be more accurate and flexible, and offer greater scope for more sophisticated configuration, parametrization and operation. This was accompanied by the field bus revolution, which provided a networked means of communicating between control systems and field-level instrumentation, eliminating hard wiring. Discrete manufacturing plants adopted these technologies fast. The more conservative process industries with their longer plant life cycles have been slower to adopt an analog-based measurement and control. Still dominates. The growing use of industrial Ethernet on the factory floor is pushing these trends still further, enabling manufacturing plants to be integrated more tightly within the enterprise, via the Internet if necessary. Global competition has also increased demand for reconfigurable manufacturing systems.